Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya, Vibrity founder Acharya, savior of the whole world Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Purushottama Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Samveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda की जय. पतित पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश की जय. श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकानाथ की जय. श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय. श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय. शील प्रभुपाद की जय. शील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज. ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज. ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज. ऑल ग्लोरीज ऑल ग्लोरीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरांगा. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद. जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद. जय श्री चैतन्य जय. जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद. चंद्र जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद. जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद. जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद. जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद. So, we'll be reading from Chaitanya Chaitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 3. So, we'll just start with prayers. Om Agyanat Mirandasya. We'll be reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 3. We'll start with prayers. Om Agyanat Mirandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurunmilitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां स्तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी निति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे ओम हरे हरे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वर. So, with all of your blessings, I'd like to read for all of your pleasure, for glorifying Lord and for my purification. Text 99. आपने श्री कृष्ण यदि करे न अवतार, आपने आचार्य भक्ति करे न प्रचार. Translations and purports following verses by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If Sri Krishna were to appear as an incarnation, he himself could preach devotion by his personal example. So this is actually Advaita Acharya, speaking. So these verses from 99 to close to towards the end of this chapter, Advaita Acharya is expressing his feelings, what he thought. Next 100. In this age of Kali, there is no religion other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind. I shall constantly petition him in humbleness. My name Advaita will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement of the chanting of the holy name. Purport. The non-dualistic Mayavadi philosopher who falsely believes that he is non-different from the Lord is unable to call him like Advaita Prabhu. Advaita Prabhu is non-different from the Lord, yet in his relationship with the Lord, he does not merge in him, but eternally renders service unto him as a plenary portion. This is inconceivable for Mayavadis because they think in terms of mundane sense perception and therefore think that non-dualism necessitates losing one's separate identity. It is clear from this verse, however, that Advaita Prabhu, although retaining his separate identity, is non-different from the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached the philosophy of inconceivable simultaneous oneness with the Lord and difference from him. Conceivable dualism and monism are conceptions of the imperfect senses, which are unable to reach the transcendence because the transcendence is beyond the conception of limited potency. The actions of Sri Advaita Prabhu, however, give tangible proof of inconceivable non-dualism. One who therefore surrenders unto Sri Advaita Prabhu can easily follow the philosophy of inconceivable simultaneous dualism and monism. So Prabhupada is mentioning about Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. So simultaneous oneness and difference. One in quality, difference in quantity. And here, Advaita Acharya, he, though Lord himself, as a service, he is taking this, difficult vow to call Krishna to inaugurate this Sankirtan movement. Krishna Vasha Karibe na Kona Aradhane Vicharite Eka Shloka Ilata Ramane. While he was thinking about how to propitiate Krishna by worship, the following verse came to his mind. So he's thinking, how should I call? Tulsi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite swam atmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsalaha. Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate toward his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers merely a tulasi leaf and a palmful of water. Perfect. This verse is from Gautamiya Tantra. So, actually there are this, different Vedic literatures written by Srila Vyasadeva. So, with this we can understand that whatever written in there is perfect, and it's applicable, because Advaita Acharya is taking reference to this verse, and we'll see when he practiced that, Lord did appear. And what he's saying, Krishna sells himself to a devotee who merely offers a tulsi leaf and palmful of water. So if we have desire to purchase, Rukmini Dwarkadish, here is the way. Only thing, the characteristic would be that, we have to be affectionate towards the Lord, and it should be done with devotion. So these two star, condition apply. Okay. So, यही श्लोकार्थ आचार्य करे न विचारण कृष्ण के तुलसी जल दे यही जान तारन शोधिते कृष्ण करे न चिंतन जल तुलसी रसम किछु घरे नहीं दान. Advaitacharya considered the meaning of the verse in this way. Not finding any way to repay the debt he owes to one who offers him a tulasi leaf and water, Lord Krishna thinks, there is no wealth in my possession that is equal to a tulasi leaf and water. There is that pastime wherein, Satyabhama, Mother Satyabhama and Narad Muni, they had kind of, trading, and then wherein they say, okay, whatever gold is there, ornaments, you put it in one side of a balance, and another side you put Krishna, and then, whichever weighs more, like, Narad Muni will take it. And then, Satyabhama thought, I have so much jewelry, I can equate Krishna so easily. So she put everything, but still, it was not enough. And when she understood, okay, Krishna is going to go now, she called for Mother Rukmini. And what she did, she just put a tulasi leaf and the balance, went completely down. So that is that's where he says, there is no wealth in my possession that is equal to a tulasi leaf, and a water. Tabe atma vaichi kare Krishna ras shodhana eta bhavi acharya kare na aradhana. Thus the Lord liquidates the debt by offering his own self to the devotee. Considering this, the Acharya began worshipping the Lord. Purport. Through devotional service, one can easily please Lord Krishna with a leaf of a tulasi plant and a little water. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9.26, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or some water, patram pushpam phalam toyam, when offered with devotion, very much pleases him. He universally accepts the service of his devotees. Even the poorest of the devotees in any part of the world can secure a small flower, fruit, or a leaf and a little water. And if these offerings, and especially tulasi leaves and Ganges water, are offered to Krishna with devotion, he is very satisfied. It is said that Krishna is so pleased by such devotional service that he offers himself to his devotee in exchange of it. Srila Advaitacharya knew this fact, and therefore he decided to call for the personality of Godhead Krishna to descend by worshipping the Lord with tulasi leaves and the water of Ganges. Gangajala tulasi manjari anukshana Krishna pada padma bhavi kare samarpana. Thinking of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, he constantly offered tulsi buds in water from the Ganges. Krishnera avhana kare kariya hunkar ei mate Krishnere kari karaliya avatar. He appealed to Sri Krishna with loud calls and thus made it possible for Krishna to appear. Chaitanyera avatare ei mukhya hetu bhaktera ichha avatare dharma setu. Therefore, the principal reason of Sri Chaitanya's descent is this appeal by Advaitacharya. The Lord, the protector of religion, appears by the desire of his devotees. We also see that, Prahlad Maharaj, when was asked by Hiranyakashipu, is the Lord in this pillar? He said, yes, he is. And Lord has to come through pillar. Who is mother, father of Lord Narasimhadev? Pillar. So this shows that for a devotee, Krishna can do anything. So it's such a privilege, if we become devotee of Lord, So it's we should be so much grateful to Advaita Acharya because of his devotion. It's like in this verse he said, this is Chaitanya Avatare Yei Mukhya Hetu. This is the principal reason that Advaita Acharya, because Advaita Acharya called, Lord Chaitanya appeared. So sometimes if we feel that, I am practicing in devotional service so nicely, we can remain humble by understanding it's some other devotee's prayer because of which our devotion is going nicely. Otherwise, on our own, we cannot do anything. So, spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, so their blessings and whole parampara, we are able to practice. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita rita saroja ase srutekshita patho nanunatha pumsam yad yad daiva tad urugaya vibhavayanti tat tat vapuh pranayasya sad anugrahaya. O my Lord, you always dwell in the vision and hearing of your pure devotees. You also live in their lotus-like hearts, which are purified by devotional service. O my Lord, who are glorified by exalted prayers, you show special favor to your devotees by manifesting yourself in the eternal forms in which they welcome you. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.9.11, is a prayer by Lord Brahma to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, for his blessings in the work of creation. Knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood from the descriptions of the Vedic scriptures. For example, the Brahma Samhita describes that in the abode of Lord Krishna, which is made of Chintamani, touchstone, the Lord, acting as a cowherd boy, is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. Mayavadis think that the devotees have imagined the form of Krishna, but the authentic Vedic scriptures have actually described Krishna and his various transcendental forms. The word Shruta in Shrutekshita Pathaha refers to the Vedas, and Takshita indicates that the way to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead is by proper study of the Vedic scriptures. One cannot imagine something about God or his form. Such imagination is not accepted by those who are serious about enlightenment. Excuse me. Here Brahma says that one can know Krishna through the path of properly understanding the Vedic texts. If by studying the form, name, qualities, pastimes and paraphernalia of the Supreme Godhead, one is attracted to the Lord, he can execute devotional service, and the form of the Lord will be impressed in his heart and remain transcendentally situated there. Unless a devotee actually develops transcendental love for the Lord, it is not possible for him to think always of the Lord within his heart. Such constant thought of the Lord is the sublime perfection of the yogic process, as Bhagavad Gita confirms in 6th chapter, stating that anyone absorbed in such thought is the best of all yogis. Such transcendental absorption is known as samadhi. A pure devotee who is always thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the person qualified to see the Lord. One cannot speak of Urugaya, the Lord who is glorified in sublime prayers, unless one is transcendentally elevated. The Lord has innumerable forms, as Brahma Samhita confirms, Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Mananta Rupam. The Lord expands himself in innumerable swamsha forms. When a devotee, hearing about these innumerable forms, becomes attached to one and always thinks of him, the Lord appears to him in that form. Lord Krishna is especially pleasing to devotees for whom he is always present in the heart because of their highly elevated transcendental love. So, after mentioning the reason, Prabhupada is like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is quoting this verse from Bhagavatam, wherein says that Lord says that I am always dwell in the vision and hearing of my pure devotees. So, is another verse, Naham Tishtami Vaikunthe Yoginam Hridayeshua Tatra Tishtami Narad Yatra Gayanti Madbhakta, like wherever devotees are chanting with love and devotion, Lord says, I stay there. So, as Advaita Acharya, with his prayers, he brought Lord Chaitanya in this world. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada, carrying Krishna in his heart, he came to West, rather he traveled all over the world, and established Vrindavan, Dwarka, Mayapur, at all these places. That is the power of pure devotee. Advaita Acharya just, brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to, on the earth planet. Lord Chaitanya appeared, he toured, South India, just, part of India, and came back. But it was Srila Prabhupada who, with the instruction of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, took Lord Chaitanya throughout the world. And, New Dwarka, this is a historic place because sitting here, he gave this, translations and purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita, and devotees tirelessly, in the span of few months, made these books come out. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had to struggle for months to get a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. But because of Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy and devotees' love for Srila Prabhupada, which made this very, very difficult work of publishing possible in such a record-breaking span, we are now having CCs, like you just call Bhrugupati Prabhu and then you will get whatever CCs you want. It is like that. Rather, devotees are going out and giving this, for which pure devotee had to struggle for months. So just see our fortune. So how to reciprocate? Just by appreciating that and sticking to the process given by Srila Prabhupada. Yehi shlokera artha kahi sakshepera sara bhaktera ichhaya krishnera sarva avatara. The essence of the meaning of this verse is that Lord Krishna appears in all his innumerable eternal forms because of the desires of his pure devotees. Chaturtha shlokera artha haila sunichete avatirna haila gaura prema prakashite. Thus I have surely determined the meaning of the fourth verse. Lord Chaitanya, Lord Gauranga, this Lord Chaitanya, appeared as an incarnation to preach unalloyed love of God. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Yara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, describing the causes of the descent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Chapter 4. In this chapter of the epic Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has stressed that Lord Chaitanya appeared for three principal purposes of his own. The first purpose was to relish the position of Srimati Radharani, who is the prime reciprocator of the transcendental love of Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna is the reservoir of transcendental loving transactions with Srimati Radharani. The subject of those loving transactions is the Lord himself, and Radharani is the object. Thus, the subject of the Lord wanted to relish the loving mellow in the position of the object Radharani. The second reason for his appearance was to understand the transcendental mellow of himself. Lord Krishna is all sweetness. Radharani's attraction for Krishna is sublime. And to experience that attraction and understand the transcendental sweetness of himself, he accepted the mentality of Srimati Radharani. The third reason that Lord Chaitanya appeared was to enjoy the bliss tasted by Radharani. The Lord thought that undoubtedly Radharani enjoyed his company and he enjoyed the company of Radharani. But the exchange of transcendental mellow between the spiritual couple was more pleasing to Srimati Radharani than to Sri Krishna. Radharani felt more transcendental pleasure in the company of Krishna than he could understand without taking her position. But for Sri Krishna to enjoy in the position of Srimati Radharani was impossible because that position was completely foreign to him. Krishna is transcendental male and Radharani is transcendental female. Therefore, to know the transcendental pleasure of loving Krishna, Lord Krishna himself appeared as Lord Chaitanya, accepting the emotions and bodily luster of Srimati Radharani. Lord Chaitanya appeared to fulfill these confidential desires and also to preach the special significance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and to answer the call of Advaita Prabhu. These were secondary reasons. Shri Swarup Damodar Goswami was the principal figure among Lord Chaitanya's confidential devotees. The records of his diary have revealed these confidential purposes of the Lord. These revelations have been confirmed by the statements of Shri Rupa Goswami in his various prayers and poems. This chapter also specifically describes the difference between lust and love. The transaction of Krishna and Radha are completely different from material lust. Therefore, the author has very clearly distinguished between them. So last chapter we saw three reasons, external reasons why Lord Chaitanya came. First, because Advaita Acharya called. Second, it was time for Yuga Avatar. And third, to give the Yuga Dharma, chanting holy names. And in this chapter, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is describing three internal reasons, like Prabhupada has said. First, Krishna wanted to understand the transcendental position and love experienced by Srimati Radharani. He wanted to understand what is in him that attracts her the most. And third, to experience that transcendental pleasure that she derives. Okay. Sri Chaitanya Prasadena Tadrupasya Vinirnayam Balopi Kurute Shastram Drishtva Vraja Vilas Sinaha. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a foolish child can fully describe the real nature of Lord Krishna, the enjoyer of the pastimes of Vraja, according to the version of revealed scriptures. Purport. One can ascertain the meaning of this Sanskrit shloka only when one is endowed with the causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Sri Krishna, being the absolute personality of Godhead, cannot be exposed to the mundane instruments of vision. He reserves the right not to be exposed by the intellectual feats of non-devotees. Notwithstanding this truth, even a small child can easily understand Lord Sri Krishna and his transcendental pastimes in the land of Vrindavan by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Many times, many atheistic people, they give this argument, show me God, right? So, if I say, show me Bill Gates or show me Elon Musk, they'll not come in front of me. Why they should, So then what to speak of Lord? Lord Krishna. So it's a beautiful statement. Prabhupada says that, he reserves the right not to be exposed by the intellectual feats of non-devotees. That's a one statement Prabhupada writes is, kind of $1 million, So if somebody really argues that, show me God, have you seen God, we can just open this purport and say, what right do you have to, ask for this? So, but the same Lord, even a child can understand him by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, So, there was this past time wherein Srila Prabhupada was sitting with some Vedantist in Vrindavan. So Prabhupada asked them, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead? And they said, oh Swamiji, it's very hard to describe this, that, and they were speaking all kind of, blah, blah, blah. And Prabhupada called, this small, Saraswati, she said, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead? And he said, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada gave her prasad and he said, just a small child also can understand, provided, there is again, that we get this mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And how to get mercy of Lord Chaitanya? So many devotees again and again describe this by getting mercy of Lord Nityananda. And how to get mercy of Lord Nityananda? By getting mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and that's by preaching this message. And devotee was mentioning, by getting the mercy of Jagai Madai, we can get mercy of Lord Nityananda. Meaning, by sharing this knowledge to whoever we meet, we can get this Lord's mercy. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glory to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glory to Lord Nityananda, all glory to Sri Advaita Acharya, and all glory to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. That also means no glory to me. So whenever we think that, oh, because of me things are happening, we can remember this verse. And it's all happening because of Lord's causeless mercy actually and devotees' blessings. Chaturtha shlokera artha kaila vivarana panchama shlokera artha shuna bhakta gana. I have described the meaning of the fourth verse. Now, O devotees, kindly hear the explanation of the fifth verse. So by the way, these verses are from the first chapter. So if we go back, the fourth verse was about Anarpita Charim Chirat, So the last chapter was about that. And now this verse is about Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikrutir Ladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmana Api Bhui Pura Deha Bhedam Gatau Tau Chaitanyakham Prakatam Adbhuta Tad Dvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhava Jyoti Suvalilita Naumi Krishna Swarupam. So this chapter is explanation of this verse, fifth verse. मूल श्लोकेर अर्थ करीते प्रकाश अर्थ लागीते आगे कहिए आभास. Just to explain the original verse, I shall first suggest its meaning. चतुर्थ श्लोकेर अर्थ एई कैलासार प्रेम नाम प्रचारिते एई अवतार. I have given the essential meaning of the fourth verse. This incarnation descends to propagate the chanting of the holy name and spread love of God. सत्य यही हेतु किंतु इहो बहिरंगा आरेक हेतु सुना आचे अंतरंगा. Although this is true, this is but the external reason for the Lord's incarnation. please hear one other reason, the confidential reason for Lord's appearance. In the 3rd chapter, 4th verse, it has been clearly said that Lord Chaitanya appeared to distribute love of Krishna and the chanting of his transcendental holy names, Hare Krishna. That was the secondary purpose of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. The real reason is different, as we shall see in this chapter. It is said, Bhagavad Gita is Lord Krishna's words, Bhagavatam is Krishna's deeds, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is Krishna's mind. So, many times, other religious practices, they don't know even how Lord, looks or what he does. But by the mercy of Acharyas, we can even know the mind of Lord. Not only what he does, but even what he thinks. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is now going to reveal that. Purveyena prithivira bhara haribare Krishna avatarina haila shastrera prachare. The scriptures proclaim that Lord Krishna previously descended to take away the burden of the earth. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkutam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Swayam bhagavanera karmanaye bharaharena sthiti karta Vishnu karena jagat palena. To take away this burden, however, is not the work of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The maintainer, Lord Vishnu, is the one who protects this universe. Kintu Krishnera yeyi haya avatar kala bhara harena kala tate haila misal. But the time to lift the burden of the world mixed with the time of Lord Krishna's incarnations. Purport. We have information from Bhagavad Gita that the Lord appears at particular intervals to adjust a time-worn spiritual culture. Lord Sri Krishna appeared at the end of Dwapar Yuga to regenerate the spiritual culture of human society and also to manifest his transcendental pastimes. Vishnu is the authorized Lord who maintains the created cosmos, and he is also the principal deity who makes adjustments for the improper administration in the cosmic creation. Sri Krishna is the primeval Lord, and he appears not to make such administrative adjustment, but only to exhibit his transcendental pastimes and thus attract the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. However, the time for administrative rectification and the time for Lord Sri Krishna's appearance coincided at the end of last Dwapar Yuga. Therefore, when Sri Krishna appeared, Vishnu, the Lord of maintenance, also merged in him, because all the plenary portions and parts of the absolute personality of Godhead merge in him during his appearance. So we know there is, there is, this Shyam Sundar Krishna and Mathura, what they call it, like Krishna's another form, like the one Shyam Sundar form, he never leaves Vrindavan, but the other one, which is, which has even the Vasudeva Krishna, yes, thank you. He goes to Dwarka and does all this killing business, So the purport Prabhupada is mentioning the same thing. Though Krishna is not bound to do this, Krishna does it because anyway it was coinciding with the appearance of his appearance. Purna Bhagavana avatare kale arasab avatar tare ai mai mile. When the complete Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, all other incarnations of the Lord meet together with him. Narayana Chaturvyuha Matsyadi Avatar Yuga Manvantara Avatar Yata Achayar Sabe Aise Krishna Ange Haya Avatirna Aiche Avatare Krishna Bhagavana Purna. Lord Narayan, the four primary expansion, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, Matsya and the other Leela incarnations, the Yuga avatars, the Manvantara incarnations, and as many other incarnations as there are, all descends in the body of Lord Krishna. In this way, the complete Supreme Godhead, Lord Krishna Himself, appears. So, we'll stop here. From tomorrow, devotees can continue this. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय, श्री कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय, द मोस्ट म्यूनिफिसेंट इनकारनेशन लॉर्ड श्री गौरांग महाप्रभु की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।